Hi, it's Katie again. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've prepared 18 tips for you. My 18 top tips how I use magic mushrooms for personal development and for healing, especially emotional healing in my case. You want to know how to use a tool properly. The same is with knife. You can harm others or yourself, or you can make some amazing sculptures or amazing food with it. The same is for mushrooms. How's that? Sorry. Same is for mushrooms. So if you know how to use them properly, your benefit will be enormous. It will just blow your mind how they have helped you in your life. You will figure out later, as I did, but I always carry them with me, not the mushrooms themselves. I carry them here, what they have taught me. So it's pretty amazing stuff. I want to share this with you. So number one, empty stomach is the best you can do for yourself. Do it in the morning hours and do it on the empty stomach, because it really reduces your chances of being nauseous. I once tried to have it in the evening after dinner, and first of all, it didn't work much, and second of all, I was very sick. It didn't go well. And about the morning hours, I recommend, yeah, if you're going for high doses, it can keep you up the whole night basically, or like to 3 or 4 a.m. And it's much better to have it done during the day and get your night rest afterwards, in my opinion. This is all my experience. So just figure out for yourself what works the best for you, but I'm here to share my experiences. I do yoga exercise before the mushroom trips. Just very gentle yoga, a lot of these hip openers, a lot of the Psoas release. So check those out. I really recommend Yin yoga. It's very much about calming down your pelvis and stretching the tension there. And there's actually, when you're going for healing, mushrooms will kind of naturally focus on that area. They work in my pelvis every time. I can feel it and I can know it. I just know that they're there, busy cleansing, like putting the dirt away. It's really amazing stuff. Number 3, very important. Build your dose and know your dose. Know your mushrooms. Just be aware of how much you're using so that you will feel safe. There's nothing worse that can happen to you when the psilocybin starts to kick in and you will somehow start freaking out. And that naturally happens when you're going for larger doses, when you're going for ego death, or like ego suppression or complete ego death and loss of your own identity. Your ego will kind of freak out from that. It's like part of you is dying. So that situation is very strange. You rationally know that you're not dying, but part of you is dying. So it can kind of convince you that you're actually dying and you can start freaking out. So the only thing how you can prevent it, or at least as far as I have figured out, is know your mushrooms, know your dose, and know that you're safe. Just be smart, be safe. That's it. You cannot do much about it. When the psilocybin kicks in, it's like, in my case, it's like I start to panic have this panic breath, and then I'm safe. Just breathe through it, and then it kind of starts flowing, and the trip goes on, and I can go further to the peak. But if I didn't know that before, I might have had spins into a bad trip because of this freaky nature of mushrooms. They can really convince you that you are dying with larger doses. You're not, but they can convince you. This is a nice dynamic of them. This is a pretty amazing nature of them. I understand a lot about them, so I'm trying to communicate this to you. Next one, number 4. It's very nice if you do like 20 minutes yoga and then you do warm bath or warm shower. Like you do this amazing ritual before you do the mushrooms. You do the whole ritual from that. And water is a purifier. It's a cleansing element. It's kind of, we feel so good standing under the shower. It's because it's so good for us. I also recommend that you wouldn't watch any horror stories prior to the trip, like the evening before or maybe before the whole week. You know, just have some fun on Netflix, but just not too much of a drama. There are a few things that you should have by the hand, especially when you're going for larger doses. Blanket, if you're or at least I always go to lay down on the couch. So I need blanket because I'm just so fucking freezing cold on the beginning of the trip. Like first 1.5 hours to 2 hours, I'm just like my bones are frozen. I call this the supernova effect. Like you're first imploding and your body is fighting it because you have ingested a very strange chemical, and then you're like, and then it kicks in and takes you to the right, and then it's nice, and then you're actually overheated, like red cheeks, like sweating like crazy. But the beginning, there's this this blanket is not needed, and also hot water bottle. I always have it on my chest, hot water, and my frozen hands on it, and I'm waiting for the trip to become more like explosive, you know, the supernova. Earplugs can help you if you're not believing that there will be enough silence around you. I never use music. It's like I really enjoy the music within because it's the music inside. And yeah, tissues for tears. I cry a lot. It's very helpful tears. Moving on, number 7, Tripsitter. Tripsitter is really amazing. It gives you one more extra level of safety, feeling safe. Like Terence McKenna says, even if the Tripsitter has lost all the hopes that he will ever come back sane, it's still good to have him there. And so I always have somebody with me. I think I'm now skilled enough to do some trips alone, but I still feel much safer having someone who is sober there with me. It should be a trusted person, and it should be someone who can drive in case it's needed, you know, to get you something or to get you somewhere when the trip wouldn't go well. But I wouldn't recommend that, but you know, just manage that the Tripsitter is sober. He shouldn't smoke weed or drink alcohol or eat mushrooms with you. It wouldn't help you actually much. Number 8, be alone. Just you and the Tripsitter. No kids, no pets are good, but no kids. And no parties. There's absolutely no option that you could trip for your own benefit. and for your development. Being on a party, drinking alcohol with it, that's not gonna help you. So really take your time and do this magical ritual from that. Prepare food prior to the trip. I usually eat some berries afterwards and grapes and strawberries and so. And these are fabulous. It's always a meal of my life when I just when I'm back from the forest, when I'm back from the mushroom trips, still laying on a couch, and then the Tripsitter hands me the berries, and then I'm so amazed how they taste every time. And food can also be a good break for you, like in terms when you need to slow down when the trip is not going well. I never had a bad trip, but people say that especially vitamin C and food in general, like citrus fruits and fruits, can take you out of the trip much easier. It kind of helps the psilocybin to be absorbed in your body. So just keep it in mind, maybe have something in the fridge, or just be careful that you have everything is pre-cut already. That you wouldn't want to cut things when you're tripping. Surrender and trust, number 10. Yes, this is the most important part. Yeah, as I said, your ego will resist. You have to surrender to this. Just breathe through, and the magic will happen. I promise. Yes, and that brings me back to the point 3. Know your dose and be smart and be safe. That's the only way how you can prevent any panic attacks and freaking out when the psilocybin kicks in. Yes, number 11, Mindfold. Mindfold makes miracles. With these eyes, we look towards outside, but what you get a chance to look inside when you ingest the psilocybin mushrooms. I'm using this one. It's a pretty amazing one. It has, if you can see that, yes, it has holes for your eyes so that you can actually, without any distraction, even have your eyes open, and it will still be very comfortable for you. I'm not that disciplined to have my eyes closed. Sorry. So I really need this one. Maybe you're disciplined enough, but it's you open your eyes and it somehow disturbs the whole process. I usually wear this in the first 2 hours of the trip, and then I somehow naturally feel that the cleansing has been done, and then it's time to take it off. And the rest of the trip, like meaning like another 4 to 5 hours, I can enjoy the visuals and the sense of being in my body, really being in my body. And with this one, I enjoy the moments of not being in my body, which really happens at the beginning of the trip. Like it kicks in very quickly and then goes down slowly. Number 12, breathe. Whatever happens, just breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe through it. Breath is amazing, and they will show you, the mushrooms will show you how amazing that is if you just try it. Just if you're there, try to breathe through different bodily sensations. Number 13, integrate the knowledge in your life. That's when the magic happens. The magic of the mushrooms happens, yeah, like during the trip, it's like this fairy tale land. But after the trip, that's when it really happens in your life, when you're able to integrate. So what I do is mushrooms always remind me what my ego is and what I am without ego. And then later in my life, I can spot my ego and I can spot my emotions before they happen, and I can detach from them before they happen. Number 14, keep it for yourself. and share it only with open-minded and trusted people. That's a very unfortunate truth about magic mushrooms, because they are somehow so controversial that many people cannot stand it. They cannot stand that you're doing it, so they think you're junkie and that you're using drugs. Well, what you can say about this? Nothing. It's just your healing, it's your body, it's your choice, and it's none of their business. But if you want to avoid that, just be careful about whom you are sharing this with. You can explain, you can kind of share your experience, explain, answer their questions, you can support them, but you should never convince anyone to do it. Like saying it's good for you. I have the tendency to do that. It's good for you, it would help you. Try to fight it. I'm trying not to tell this to people. I somehow say what my experience is, and it might be good for them, but I don't do it will be good for you, it will heal you. No, it wouldn't if you say that. If they believe that it would heal them, it would. But not because you say that. Express yourself and create. Ta-da! Yes, they kicked my creativity so much that I'm painting now and doing various things how to manifest my inner states, and just do it. Whatever it costs financially, it doesn't matter. Just do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Do it. Just don't harm anyone else or so. It shouldn't go on costs of somebody else. But just do it. Buy your canvas, buy your brushes, buy your paints, and just paint anything you like. Or do any kind of art, music or so, anything. Number 16, remember you build tolerance. Psilocybin has immediate tolerance in your system, so the next trip should not be earlier than 10 to 14 days later. Because it simply wouldn't work. With microdosing, you can do more often, because it's the tolerance would not be that large or for that long. But if you're going for larger doses, you shouldn't do it more often than every 2 weeks. It just the magic would be gone. And I prefer to do it every 2 months or so. Not that often. I really need some time to integrate, and I'm respectful to them. I'm whoa, we still have some time before we meet again. Number 17, keep up. Don't dismiss your yoga, don't dismiss your Iceman challenge or whatever challenge, or your vegan challenge. Don't dismiss your meditation practice or whatever. Just keep up. It's all important. I can tell. They told me. And finally, don't judge yourself for needing magic mushrooms in your life. Look around ourselves. We are so busy. So be very gentle with yourself. Be soft with yourself. You're perfect exactly the way you are. And the fact that you're watching this video means that you are willing to have things safe in your life and being better person, or behaving better, or healing whatever you want to heal. Go ahead, go for it. It's your life, and I wish you good luck.